We're playing as Brandon, which has the fastest movement speed in the game. So essentially, Brandon runs 30% or so faster than each other mask in the game, which is really fast, obviously.
Yeah.
Makes to complete the game faster.
Exactly.
Yep,
Flubes
exactly.
has just got it right on the nail there.
Really insightful.
Also, you play the game in Asian, which is the fastest
That's
language.
Yeah, we play in Chinese because it's 1 frame faster for some reason. We're not sure why.
We're not sure why it is 1 frame faster exactly. However, we do know it does after vigorous testing. It's always just come out to 1 frame. I'm not really sure why.
Yeah,
Nobody really knows what.
We've done it a million times. We've timed it over and over again, but it's just 1 frame faster, and it still gets on my nerves. But that's how it is. So we play in Korean.
Oh, with me, Shaft's gonna give some. Being the world record holder, Shaft's gonna give some helpful commentary while I have to focus on some harder levels later on. But just as sort of an introduction, the category basically means we need to see every screen in the game. So you'll see, I'll point out when a level could potentially be skipped, but we're not gonna skip any levels, as I said earlier.
Yep, we're doing these all. So basically, there are some categories of this game that are pretty. There's some kind of big glitches. They skip entire levels, and there's some screens you don't have to see. But in this category, we're gonna do everything. We're gonna play the game like a casual guy who's just really good at it. Because that's what Jack does.
I play like a casual. That's what I do.
Also, just to mention, we do have a donation incentive, which is to, at the end of the game, you see the creators of this game, and you can kill them if you want. So you can donate to save or kill the creators.
Yeah, it's a sick reference to killing the animals. Get it?
Kill the what?
Yeah.
Kill the animals? What? What's that?
And or not.
That was my Flubes. That was my complete original idea, and you're just undermining that.
Yeah, wow, dude.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just made a mistakes.
That's fine. I understand. Just don't do it again.
Jack was planning to do that to submit to like GDQ and ESA as the finale. No one's
ruined my whole year's plan. Okay, so Hotline is, if you don't know what Hotline is, it's essentially, as you can probably tell from the first 4 levels, it's like a top-down sort of puzzle action game where you just shoot everybody, and that's as simple as it gets, really. You saw there I had a assault rifle on that screen, and that was pretty helpful because on some screens you want certain weapons. Enemies spawn with random weapons in this game, so there's a little bit of luck involved. It's quite a random game, so we're going to be looking out for certain weapons to use on certain screens for certain strategies and stuff like that. It's not a case of
against that boss you need a shotgun.
Yeah, I need a shotgun for that boss. It's not a case of you rolled a certain number, so you lose like a minute, but it is a case of you need to kind of improvise a little bit depending on what sort of luck you get. Also, the AI is absolutely it's dumb. The AI in this game can be dumb. It can also be 200 IQ. So hopefully we see some super mobsters at some stage in this run.
Yeah. Basically, when you see Jack die, it'll be because the AI is 200 IQ.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that's only because Jack's got a 195, so...
Yeah, just not quite up to snuff.
Yeah, but, you know, he's a smart guy.
So this screen is pretty straightforward. Not really... Holy shit!
Really hard.
No way! I just got the point 1.
Wow.
No! Oh my god!
No!
Oh my god, dude!
That is insane.
Holy shit!
That's a Japanese exclusive game mechanic there, where sometimes you get the loud explosion on that screen. That's crazy. Holy shit!
Yeah, it saves like an hour.
Excuse my language, but that's extremely rare.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! That's insane.
Is that world record pace now?
I think so. Oh my god, that sets up the RNG manipulator as well, which really helps out in the later levels, the later harder levels. That's
I
insane.
hear your hands shaking.
Oh my god.
I could hear them shaking through your mic.
Anyway, let's.
Excuse me. I'm in shock.
No. It's
Go ahead.
I think we're all a bit in shock here. That's fine. Okay.
I'm
Let's
just
try and
saying,
move on.
like, I played this. It's a really hard game. I played this game at like a LAN party once, and I got my friend to play it, and he said it was a hard game. And yeah,
Yeah, I have played. I am the world record holder, but I also haven't beaten this game yet. So I've played through most of it, and what Jack's doing right now makes everything look really easy. It looks like there's not even really a risk in any of these areas, but like every single time Jack gets hit, every bullet will immediately kill him. And so if he messes up, he's gonna have to start over completely. And right now it's not a huge deal. He maybe lose like 5 to 10 seconds, but when we get into the later levels especially, if he clears out most of a room and then dies, he can lose like 30 seconds.
yeah, you
So-
can die in this game.
It is a feature. So there we're introduced to the hostage mechanic, which essentially is if you try execute enemies with certain guns, you instead take them hostage, like that. Double barrel is one of those, and you get a slight speed increase, but also it kind of is a bit safe for situations like that, where we can just like absolutely wipe out every enemy in that room quite quickly, quite effectively.
By the way, Jack, we should keep an eye on for when we can read some donations, because I realize they haven't been
Sure.
able to for a while.
Sure. There'll be some time. There'll be some time. Coming up as neighbors, which is another level we could potentially skip, but again, all levels, meme categories,
Yeah.
love them.
We gotta play casually.
Got it, yeah.
This is story percent.
This
Does all levels include every level?
it does not actually include every level, believe it.
It includes all the levels, but not every
Oh,
single
I locked
level.
on. Locking on
Makes
is a feature
sense.
in this game. I did not use effectively right there. Okay, should be good now.
So Jack mentioned before how enemies can have random weapons, and that can really determine how you go through a level. Like getting a specific gun somewhere might change the way you route something. And obviously every single level has an optimal way to do it, so there's optimal places you want guns to spawn. But in a full game run, you're not going to keep dying for that to happen. So essentially, what Jack has to do every time is he has to adapt really hard to whatever he's thrown at, or whatever's thrown at him, I suppose. So it's really impressive what he's doing, even if it's not obvious.
I had to find a melee weapon. I had to pick up the frying pan in the previous game there, because I couldn't find my melee that I dropped.
There's like one part in this game where you can get a frying pan filled with water and throw it at someone's face. And I think there's like one level that has it.
I'll try and keep this
Yeah,
run
that's
as PG-13
really
as
hard to do.
possible, guys. I'm sorry. Sorry about this excessive violence, but
Yeah. Just, it's all tomato sauce.
yeah. People just love
Yeah, it's-
spaghetti in 80s Miami. I don't know why.
It's that marinara.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so this is
Well,
the
they're
biker fight.
Italian. It's a bunch of Italian guys
Yeah.
you're attacking.
Oh,
Yeah.
that makes
I mean,
sense.
Yeah, you're
This
stealing
guy's
their
so,
pasta
like-
sauce.
Yeah, you walk in here, and they're all mad. Spill all their pasta.
Yeah,
Spaghetti falls out of the pockets.
exactly.
Alright, so that was the. I didn't really explain the biker fight too well there. Basically, it's completely free and it cannot go wrong in any way. That's all you need to know.
Yeah. No, it never goes wrong.
Never
You get the
ever.
pasta out of his head, and you move on. So yeah, the story in this game, just to mention, we're this guy named Jacket. He doesn't have a real name, but everyone calls him Jacket. And we just killed this biker guy, and now we're going around and killing all these Italians and taking their pasta. And you might ask, why, Shane? Why are you killing all these Italians and taking their pasta? And I couldn't tell you. You'd have to watch like a
Yeah.
2-hour long YouTube video for that
Yeah.
answer. So
Perhaps look at a few wiki pages, do like a week's worth of research. You might have a idea of the story.
you're gonna have like a wall
Yeah,
full
you
of
gotta-
pictures and string between all the pictures.
Yeah,
You know?
you have to be a pretty dedicated fan
Yeah.
to appreciate the story.
It has to be like red string.
Yeah, of course. For the pasta.
Did somebody touch that mint spaghetti? I think somebody touched that mint spaghetti. I'm sorry.
I believe so.
Okay, so I guess this is the thing
hello.
I haven't mentioned. There are dogs in this game, and the dogs are really scary. The thing that I hated the most about this is the dogs, because
Yeah, the dogs.
yeah,
The dogs.
dog-
Oh, fuck.
First of all, they don't have any spaghetti on them.
Right.
Second of all,
First problem, no spaghetti. Second problem, it doesn't matter. First problem's enough.
No, the dogs are really quick, and Jack doesn't have that much of an issue because he's the best. You know, he actually does better.
Yeah, I thought you have the world record, man. What the hell?
Yeah, but
Are you lying to me?
I just look up to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm an emotional.
The dogs in this game are like horses. They like run laps.
Yeah. They run laps around you and then they steal your spaghetti back. Spaghetti sniffing dogs.
You know what they say about dogs and spag?
Oh, what did I say about dogs and spag?
They love eating it. Have you guys seen that GIF of the dog vomiting spaghetti up?
I have not actually.
Well,
yeah, it's like that.
It's pretty good, but yeah, that's basically what it's like.
Yeah.
Right, so here we have to kill a certain amount of enemies on this screen, and then the SWAT will spawn, just like that. That signifies we can leave.
Yeah. We don't want to fight the SWAT team because they don't have any spaghetti.
Yeah. It's a weird like shortage of like marinara sauce in Miami during the 80s. I don't know.
So actually, I lied. The story's really clear. Russians are hoarding all the marinara sauce, and that's why the SWAT team are coming after them. It's pretty terrible. We're trying to get the marinara sauce and save the city because everyone's starving to death without spaghetti. What else do you eat, really? You know.
But what I'm thinking is just like, what about the Alfredo?
Well, I did not take that into consideration.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're just peeking a bit.
So,
I did get excited.
I'm so excited about marinara.
So Hot and Heavy is the first like really difficult level in the game. It's where the game really starts to get like hard, both in the speedrun and casually. It's just like a really big level with a lot of big screens and a lot of enemies, and it's just kind of hard to deal with. Mostly.
A lot of marinara.
A lot. And I need a assault rifle for this next screen, which I have, thankfully.
Yeah, so this is kind of the point that I mentioned earlier, where people really, like, you're gonna lose 20 seconds on a death or something like that. Like, you're gonna lose an amount of time that maybe makes it so that you have to reset to stay on world record phase. You know, you're just screwed. So there are also some pretty insane stats as well, but you know, Jack's gonna do his best to play it safe.
Okay, I'm going to. No, let's try it again actually. Oh.
Wow.
There we go.
Was that first try?
That was first try. Oh, yes. Yes. And him, and shoot him. There you go. First try, everybody.
First try.
First try.
That's the first time I've ever seen first try. Just ever.
I tell you what, for a casual playthrough, this is going extraordinary, I must say. Down, it is down. But there's always a certain pattern where the car is after each level. It's always left, down, down, right for each act. There's 4 levels, and in each act it's left, down, down, right. But it's hard to remember that sometimes for some reason. It's simple.
Really weird. I mean, I knew that because I'm the world record holder.
Yeah, it's a lot to remember.
It is. It's way too much.
How do you remember where to go all the time?
I have,
like what
my coach tells me. I don't know if you can hear him in the background. But...
Is it your dad?
It's not my dad.
I heard him shouting at you earlier. So.
Oh, okay. No, I have.
What I just wanna know how does he know where to go?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got sniped. That was my bad. Oh, the Deadline 2 is actually quite it's one of the hardest, or not one of the hardest screens. It's quite a difficult screen. I would say it's one of the hardest screens, definitely. I just want to kind of play it safer. It's just like a lot of variance usually. Okay, that's fine.
Okay, yeah, and like we said again, a random thing I'm going to mention actually that you may notice occasionally is that sometimes Jack shoots when there are no enemies around, and what he's actually trying to do is lead enemies towards him, because sometimes it's really kind of inconsistent, but the enemies will hear the bullets that you're shooting and they'll come towards you, and essentially you can lure them into like choke points so that it's easier for you to kill them instead of easier for them to kill you. And in addition, one other inconsistency about this game is that sometimes when you shoot an enemy with a bullet, they just don't die, and sometimes when you get shot with a bullet, you just don't die. So I don't know why it happens.
I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, it's just
good.
Literally.
Oh, it's right. I forgot again. Gameplay is so much better with keyboard, mouse, and controller. Yes, I agree. Although with controller, there is in this game there's a lock-on feature. If you press middle mouse button while you have your cursor on an enemy, it'll lock on. But on controller, if you just press the lock-on button, it will automatically just snap your cursor over to an enemy. So it's like
yeah. With keyboard and mouse, you can also not do the like thing where you put your palm on the stick and then spin it around really fast.
Yeah, that's another factor you have to consider when playing this game.
Can we do some donations for this section?
Oh yeah, this is a quite a quiet section of the room. So any donation?
Okay, so we have $3 from Not Good Finn that says, I don't have that much money, but I want to keep the true speedrunning scene up. Keep up the good work. We have another $2 from Not Good Finn that says, I don't know if my donation got through or if I gave my credit card to some scam site, but here's some more money. We have $4 from Urenstein that says, hey guys, a long-time viewer, first-time donator here. My parents recently died in a Hotline related accident, so it's great to see you people doing this great marathon. Put this towards killing the developers. Greetings from Germany.
Thank you so much, Urenstein, for that heartwarming donation. And Finn, of course.
Thanks guys. Greetings
Really
from
appreciate
Germany.
Did donate to a scam.
Did you know the money that we're raising? The man that wants to go to ESA is right here, live on stream.
Well, yeah, I just want to clarify that the money for this marathon, the first $500 are going to me to help me get to ESA. So
And that's no meme, by the way. Like
guys.
I know we've been quite.
No, that's genuine.
Yeah, no, like all jokes aside. So we do appreciate all the.
Everything after the 500 I'll be using for a big donation to ESA once we're there. But thank you guys so much, and thanks everyone for watching. I hope you're enjoying so far, minus the awkward issues.
Anyway,
Okay,
back
so this is,
to
like,
back to
one of the hardest
insufferable
levels.
memes, and no, actually this is probably the hardest level in the game. That most people agree on that.
Definitely.
Because yeah, Floobs would know. As you can see, I'm in a bit of trouble now, but the police AI just tend to have really fast reaction times, and wow, super copter points. If I could also aim, that'd be helpful. Nice. Oh, he dodged my bullet. Right?
A couple of deaths on here isn't a big deal because this level is just so difficult and frustrating. Also, just story-wise, in case you're wondering, the reason we come down here is because after we got put into a coma, the cops confiscated all our spaghetti, so we have to come and get it back. I want to make sure.
Yeah, no, you have your
like
luck.
no linguine.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a small skip. If we get this cycle here, we can punch Richter through the wall, and it saves us getting his keys to a cell because we have to talk to him. And it's quite slow, but by doing that, we can skip getting his keys and nice and fast. Hopefully, don't die by this guy. Okay.
It's pretty funny that you can just punch through the wall and there's no issue.
Yeah, I know. It's funny. You can't punch normal enemies through walls like that. It's just him. It's pretty good. Good and well made game.
Yeah.
I'd
Well,
say.
now we've killed all the cops in the city, so we can go do whatever we want.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So Jack, how's life?
You know what, Chef? I am playing Hotline Miami, so it could be better. However, we're raising money for a fantastic cause, and I'm happy about that. So my mood is.
Go that far.
What? Flus? Come on! Oh my god, I can't pick up a weapon.
I mean, it's the best cause.
Yeah, thank you.
You should definitely get Shaft to ESA because he's a good boy.
Thanks.
I can't pick up the
I've
shot.
met him IRL,
Impossible.
and
I still have a gif of Floobs drinking a entire glass of hot sauce. So if I don't get the ESA, I'm gonna leak it on the internet.
I don't know what Strat I'm doing here. I've no idea. It's
Okay,
fine.
yeah. Like I said,
Oh my
this
God.
game's really hard. If this happens, it just happens sometimes. Sometimes you lose your groove, and it's hard to keep. Like, as someone who doesn't speedrun Hotline Miami but has the world record in it, and also
Hello?
speedruns other games.
This is the
sometimes
worst
you
vengeance
lose
I've ever
your
done in my life.
Yeah, this just as someone who's played this game through once, like 4 years ago, it's gonna happen in a speedrun.
The developers put in this really cool like mechanic of moving your fists with your mouse cursor as well. So you have to kill this boss guy with by moving your cursor. Quite a unique sort of twist on things.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in this game that's like really just weird and abstract. Not even not just the story. Like the fact that if you spin around, you run 5% faster.
Well, 5%. It's like a frame every like how many seconds?
sorry.
Yeah.
It's
It's
a frame
hacking
every-
fact straight. Yeah.
It's actually every pi seconds.
Okay.
So
Sorry, my
yeah,
mistake. So I was the one who didn't have my fact straight.
it's
Look at
because
that.
of your the circumference of your character and that sort of thing.
Alright, so here is the final chapter, which isn't actually the final chapter. Don't worry, we're not done yet.
We're killing this guy's panthers, and then we're gonna kill this guy. I still actually don't understand what this guy or his killbird girlfriend did, but
We have to kill Tommy Wiseau.
yeah, we have to kill Tommy Wiseau, and then we have to kill his dad.
No, we don't have to kill anybody. He just
Sorry, we have to get the
Oh,
remaining
what
pesto
happened to him?
sauce in the world.
Jesus, what?
There we go.
That was.
I want to hear my Tommy Wiseau impression.
Oh yeah,
Do it.
please.
Go on.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh
Oh,
my god.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, please just do that for the rest of the stream. That was
I'd like
amazing.
if people could applause in chat, please. Could applaud in chat for Flute's an amazing impression.
By the
show
way,
some
Jack,
support.
remember to remind me to check for kill the
Oh yes,
developers.
actually, we have an incentive. To save or kill the developers at the end of the game because they put themselves in, and we can kill them.
Original idea.
So
Right now, kill
get
the
your
developers.
donations in for that if you want to kill them or save them.
Yeah. We should save them because it's faster. You actually don't have to. Yeah, you can just
save
walk
us
away,
faster.
basically.
Actually, yeah. You just walk
'Cause if
away
you
after
kill
they
them-
talk to you.
If you kill them, you actually have to like take the time to
Yeah.
kill them. But if you save them, you just leave. So this is the one case where saving people is faster.
So anyway, we're playing this biker now. He has a unique mechanic. If you want to explain what I do.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Okay, so the biker has these throwing knives. So originally in the game, you start out with nothing, and you have to pick up weapons to kill people. But when you're playing as the biker, you have 3 throwing knives, and you can throw them at people, right? And they're one-hit kill. But the second you've used them all, you no longer have a ranged weapon. You can only attack with the knife. So basically, he seems like he'd be a lot harder. But in reality, he's not that much harder because they kind of designed the game with the knowledge that it was going to be like this. So some of these levels are actually quite easy in comparison, especially if you know where to use the knives.
Having a bit of trouble killing these guys kind of smoothly, but not too bad. Gunner games can be quite a pain, especially it's right at the end of the run, and the enemies can kind of behave quite erratically.
Yeah, I would say like the biggest issue with this game isn't that the enemies are like amazing. Like the thing that Jack mentioned about them either being super dumb